Okay. Today, we're talking about shifting timelines, creating the reality that we truly desire for ourselves. And I like to keep things simple. So I wrote up my notes here and everything. So you'll see me glance at my computer every now and then, but here's how I'll start. I like to keep things simple. So I'll give you my perspective and experience of shifting timelines. And shifting timelines isn't some, woo-woo stuff. It's a conscious choice to embody a version of ourselves that is capable of living the life that we want to live. Yes, this is quantum science, but I want to focus on the practical aspect so that we can take action on it in this very moment. So essentially my perspective and experience on shifting timelines is just the conscious choices that we make every single day, what we choose to embody every single day. So, we create our realities in every single moment through the majority of it is through our subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind literally holds all the programming that we have within ourselves, right? And so if we're operating from our subconscious mind, aka we're making decisions based on predisposed beliefs or just pre-existing beliefs and programs that are running within us that we're not even aware of, then we're not even really being in control of ourselves or our lives. So we're creating based on beliefs that may not even be true for ourselves. So this is why a lot of people and a lot of us today want to focus so much and so heavily on shifting timelines and creating our ideal reality, simply because we're not actually already living it. So to start living it, you need to just simply start by understanding your thoughts, understanding that you are not your thoughts, understanding that you are not a product of your environment. So what I mean by this is first understanding that you are not the thoughts that are playing in your mind. Those are, thought forms are their own things. And we are literally like radio antennas that can channel and receive certain thoughts based on the frequency, literally like a radio, that we're operating on. So if we're operating on like 97.1, 94.7, something like that, then if we're a radio, if you're Southern California, the 94.7, at least it used to be the smooth jazz station. So if you're operating on that bandwidth, on that frequency, then that's the frequency, that's the radio, that's not the radio, that's the music that you're picking up on. That's the audio frequency that you're picking up on. Same thing with us, same thing with our minds. So if we're choosing to be in a state of anger and rage, then we're going to be channeling those thoughts in. If we're choosing to operate on a frequency of joy and happiness, then we're going to be channeling those thoughts in. And that's going to be reflective. That's how we're going to actually see our reality. So understanding that we are not our thoughts, that we are not the product of our environment, is the first key in detaching ourselves from the false programs that have been running within us, that's been controlling and creating our lives on a subconscious level. So simply becoming aware of that is the first step. And the second step is understanding that you have the power to choose. You have the power to choose what you would like to embody. And what we embody basically is what allows us to attract what we want, to manifest, so to speak, what we want. Because what we embody is what we actually attract to us. If I'm embodying like joy and happiness, then people around me are going to see that. And some, if they're receptive to that, then they'll join in with the joy and happiness. If they're maybe, on the opposite side of the spectrum where they're angry and they're getting annoyed by people actually being happy, then, that's something that can happen as well. But at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're vibrating at a different frequency. You're vibrating at a certain frequency, that of joy and happiness, so that you can actually attract more of that to you. And the person that is angry and upset and irritated by you being happy and joyful, that means that they're not a vibrational match for your actual reality. So you can handle that as you may. You can either leave, you can, remove yourself from the situation, or you can confront them and, maybe try to shift their frequency or try to get them to leave, whatever way you want to go about it. I'm not here to discuss that part of it. I'm here to talk about how you can make the internal change in yourself, for yourself, so that then you can see the change happening around you. So understanding that you have the power to choose. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to observe and analyze what frequency you're actually operating on. What state of mind, what state of being are you actually choosing to be in this moment? So take a second, meditate, reflect on yourself. See what has been going on within yourself. See what has been playing out recently or in recent years that you either like or you don't like. Essentially, what I'm inviting you to do is to reflect on yourself. Do a deep self-reflection and see more of your subconscious mind that has been playing out. See more of the subconscious programming, I should say, that has been playing out for you. So if you're happy with your reality and you want more of it, then you kind of know what to do. If you're unhappy with your reality and you want to change it, then you also will know what to do. So this is the practice of it, just being aware of yourself, being aware of your thoughts, being aware of what you're choosing to embody in every moment. Because the more aware that you are of it, the more then you can move consciously by choosing what it is to embody. So that's essentially at the root of it. Shifting timelines, shifting perspectives, shifting and creating the reality that we want. It's just all about embodiment, not like the physical embodiment that I'm talking about. That's like the last step of it. The mental, the emotional, the spiritual side of things. That's what we're working on shifting. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of programming, reprogramming, deprogramming, all this stuff. Because it starts not just in the mind, but also in the heart. Because the heart really knows what our truth is. If we want to live our highest reality, if we want to live, as our highest selves, then we have to tap into the heart. Because the heart is a place of oneness. The heart is the place of wholeness. The mind, I'm not saying that it can't be, but it's more like the conscious duality aspect of, man, this or that or this, that kind of duality consciousness where usually it's easy to be trapped in the this or that, bad or good, that kind of mentality. I'm not saying to avoid that, but I'm saying that by getting in the heart, we're able to balance that better and move in harmony more with our mind so that we can let our hearts lead us and let our minds discern and learn every step of the way. Because the more that our mind is able to discern and learn from the heart, the more they operate in unison, the more they operate in harmony. The more they operate in harmony, the easier it is for us to actually attract and manifest the life that we want, aka timeline shift, and create the reality that we desire for ourselves. So I'll start. I was going to go a lot longer today, but I think I want to leave this off here. Have it be like a shorter, more like quick hitter video, because this is very potent, very powerful stuff. So if you do have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. So I'll finish off by reading this excerpt that I just wrote as I was meditating and reflecting on this topic. So again, this is not pseudoscience. This is our actual reality that we are living and creating in every single day, in every single moment. You are the creator of your reality. So take responsibility for who you are and what you choose and the actions that you take. So you can and you already are creating your reality. So why not make it into the one that you truly want? Embodiment is the key practice. Embodiment is the key practice. So focus on this and watch as your life changes for the better. It is not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, though. It really is not. You will go through some tough situations as your old reality shifts into your new reality. Trust the shift, trust yourself, and continue moving in faith. Trust is how you will create and sustain your ideal reality. So I guess I'll speak to that a little bit more, because the part that I said about it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, that is definitely true. Like no matter what you do, there's always going to be some kind of challenge that comes along with it, some kind of friction that comes along with it for you to overcome. Not that you have to tire yourself out, but that you have to observe it, see it for what it is, learn from it, and continue to move forward. Like for example, I moved abroad. I moved from California. I moved from a tough situation there. not to escape it, but to embrace my soul's calling. I moved from there, and I'm traveling around Asia, right? I'm currently in Vietnam. And this whole trip, it's been wonderful. It's been amazing. But again, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's been plenty and plenty of challenges that have come along with this. This is me. This is my most, recent and biggest timeline shift, aka quantum jump, quantum leap, however you want to say it, that I've really done in my life. Like, this is the biggest step that I've ever taken in my life. Moving from the country that I was born in, moving from my hometown, and moving to a place that I've never been to, traveling around as a nomad, as a digital nomad. Like, there's so much that could have gone wrong. There's so much that could have gone right. So much that has gone wrong. So much that has gone right. And again, this is the new reality that I stepped into. So as I shifted out of that old reality, I had to part ways with things that just weren't in vibrational match, that weren't in resonance with the reality that I was creating for myself moving forward. So for example, I had to sell my car. I was trying to find ways to, keep my car and keep the place that I was living in without having to sacrifice, a place to live, having a solid place to stay. But just where I was at financially, it just was not going to work out. It was not going to be possible unless I wanted to completely alter my life and go in a different direction in order to have this life, which would have been even more of a sacrifice that I wasn't willing to make. So again, I guess this is kind of like a running gag and running theme in this video, because the street salesman, the street vendor here in Vietnam, they seem to be making an appearance in every single video that I'm recording out here. But again, getting back to the main point, that timeline shift that I made, that quantum jump that I made, trying to hold on to everything that I had in my old life was not going to allow me to actually make the jump into this new life that I've created. So by letting go of everything, by selling my car, by letting go of the place that I was renting out, by letting go of a lot of the clothes that I had, by selling as much stuff as I could, that is what lightened up my load energetically and also physically, you could say too, to be able to allow me to actually make the move, make the jump into this new reality, into this reality that I wanted for myself. And not just, again, not from an ego standpoint, from a soul standpoint, from the heart. Because again, this is me answering the soul's calling. And, even if you're answering your soul's calling and let's say you have to make a timeline shift, not everything is going to make the cut for that timeline shift to happen. So you have to be willing to let go. And in letting go, things get very messy. They can get very messy. It all depends on how you handle it. So I'll leave this off here because I want you to really focus on making that shift within yourself so that then you can experience the shift externally. What is it that you need to do in order to actually live your ideal life, in order to make that timeline jump? Because it's not just all up here. Again, it's in here, in the heart, and also what you choose to embody. So what do you choose for yourself? What are you choosing in this very moment? What reality are you choosing to create? Literally in every single moment. Does it align with your highest good? Or is it a result of false programmings and old beliefs that don't really serve you anymore? Really sit with that, meditate with that, see what's really true for yourself, and then you'll make that shift. Much love to you.